Oh no, it's going up
Because it's not
regardless.
actually live. Yeah.
You're recorded, by the
Okay.
way.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. We have the lovely Lorena here again because last week we talked about perinatal mood and anxiety disorders and how are we going to handle the holidays. And she touched a moment on mindfulness. She said the word, and we decided that it would be a really good idea just to talk about what is mindfulness. How do you do mindfulness? I don't even know if that's is mindfulness an action? And what's the difference between mindfulness and meditation and prayer and really just what is mindfulness and how do we incorporate it into our lives as pregnant people, as postpartum people, as just people in general, as women, as men, as any person on the planet. So let's talk a little bit about mindfulness.
Absolutely. So mindfulness pretty much means being present. Being present in this moment, allowing our thoughts to be fully present here, and not having judgment with our thoughts too. So let's say we are practicing mindfulness or whatnot, recognizing certain thoughts that we're having, but being non-judgmental with those thoughts.
Which is really hard, because as soon as, I don't know, I'm fairly judgmental of myself, and I'll have a thought of like, oh gosh, right now I really should be, my phone was just ringing, I really should be answering the phone. I'm really trying to be mindful, but I could hear my phone ringing.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, I wonder if that's a client that needs me right now, and should I get up and answer it? No, I can't get up, right? All this thought is going through my mind as I'm trying to be mindful and present. So how does one do that when you have a toddler running around, or an infant crying, or any of those situations, right?
Yes, no, absolutely. So I think one of the first things to do is to start recognizing when we're not being mindful, or how often we are not being present in what we're doing. So the first thing is really recognizing just our actions and our behavior. And the second thing is once we've decided that we do want to be more mindful, there's just different tasks that we can do. I think a lot of the times people think that meditating, which is a form of practicing mindfulness, is really time consuming, but the reality is that we can choose just a couple seconds or a couple minutes throughout our day to start practicing being mindful. And we can do this at any time. One of the first things that I talk to my clients about when I start introducing mindfulness is just being mindful of our breath.
Right.
I think a lot of the times when we are running around and just being really busy, we're breathing. It's one of these involuntary things that we do, but we don't recognize just how shallow our breathing.
Yes. This comes up in labor all the time when we just have to remind a laboring person, like, slow down. Just in this moment, take a slow deep breath in and let it go. That's all you have to do in this moment is just breathe. And you don't need a lot of time.
No, just a couple seconds. Just even doing
seconds.
this now feels
Just take a deep breath. Right.
And so that's usually where I start with a lot of my clients, a lot of the moms that I work with. Not taking a lot of minutes, not taking hours throughout your day, just noticing your breath. So
something that I do, and I wake up in the morning, and now my kids are older, of course, but I remember very distinctly when my kids, I breastfed, I had one on the breast and one in the middle of the bed, and both the kids, and every morning, it's just sort of a ritual that I do. As soon as I wake up and open my eyes in the morning, before I get out of bed, I just do this 1 minute check-in.
Yes.
And I just take some deep breaths and I think about, okay, what is my day going to look like today? And I just give thanks generally. It's just sort of a morning ritual that I've always done since the kids are little. I just wake up and I think, I have a religious belief, and I just say, praise the Lord, my eyes open today. Today's going to be a good day. And here I am, and I just breathe for a minute. And that's all you really need as a new mom. That's pretty much all you have sometimes. Before you got to get this one kid on the boob and the other kid breakfast or whatever, before your chaos starts. It can just be those first 60 seconds when you open your eyes in the morning. Just do a check-in.
Absolutely.
Take some deep breaths and set an intention for the day.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Just as simple as that. And so that's one of the first things. And then I always like to talk about task mindfulness exercises with my clients or my moms. And so one of the examples that I use all the time is washing our hands. We do it all day, all the time. And so just really taking that time really taking that exercise to really be present and mindful and really feel the warmth or the temperature of the water, feel how the soap feels on our hands.
Just in that
soap,
few seconds.
Just those couple seconds. Yep. And pay attention to your breath in that moment. That's really all it takes. And we can slowly, if this is something that someone wants to learn more
so
of,
smart.
and something that they want to incorporate more of their life, you just build on this. You start with task mindfulness. It takes a couple seconds. Then you can, move on to a different exercise that takes a couple minutes, and then maybe you can start doing 5-minute meditation exercises. So you really just build on these things.
So task mindfulness. So you just choose a task that you just do all the time.
Yep.
And that's your cue, right?
And that's washing dishes. Dishes.
That's your cue.
So being present in that moment and not thinking about how much we hate washing those dishes, and but not having judgment on the thoughts, just being really present and taking those couple minutes to
that's really practical.
Yeah.
That's a great tip.
Taking a shower too. It's another.
That's
one of those
my other
things.
time. Is my shower. Is a really mindful time for me. There's something about the sound. Also, when you're laboring, it's a really great labor place too, because the sound, all the other sound is gone, and it's sort of that white noise, right? And it's just, water is always therapeutic for most people, and you don't hear the kids. Yeah.
And if this is something, this is even something that we can do with our kids. I have a 5-year-old or soon to be 5-year-old, and I have already started introducing mindfulness with her. So we talk about our breath. We take some deep breaths before she goes to sleep, and I whenever we take walks, I try to get her to pay attention to her senses, what she sees, what she feels, how the wind feels on her skin, or the sun, or what she hears. And this is a great way to introduce mindfulness to our kids, but it also gets me to slow down when I'm walking with her and pay attention and be present, which I can't always do because I'm, in my head all the time thinking about everything that I have to do, that running to-do list.
Yeah, especially this time of year, there's so many leaves and there's so much going on with like all the crazy holiday stuff. But then I was noticing we had a little girl here the other day, and the door was open to the birth center, and all these leaves were blowing in. And there was a lot going on. We were really trying to go over some things with the expectant person that was in the room. And I just picked up a leaf, and we got her really focused on this leaf. And then she was really engaged and then was picking up the leaves. And then it gave the mother this great opportunity to sit, and we could still have our conversation. But we just took a minute of mindfulness, which I don't even realize that's what we were doing, to get her like, oh, look at the sound it makes and what it feels like and the colors of it. And can you go see if there are more?
Yes.
And then she was really engaged. And she was engaged for quite a long time, actually.
Kids are so mindful. Kids are so mindful. They're really present in their tasks. I always say that my daughter's my little mindful guru. She really gets me to calm down. And one of the things I like to do also with her, aside from the walking and the breathing, is coloring. Mindful coloring has become a really big thing.
I have these coloring books that one of our clients gave us, these really great coloring books.
Yep, and so I just do it with her.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's a couple seconds.
Just
I always tell people just a couple seconds. It doesn't have to be a long
Is that why coloring is
exercise.
so therapeutic? Is it just it forces you to be mindful?
Yes, so it forces you to be focused.
Forcing, the right word?
Maybe
encourages you.
I think
gives you the opportunity to be mindful.
Right.
So just some really small tasks. What'd you call it? Task mindfulness. So before you get up in the morning, just take a minute, 60 seconds of just checking in, setting an intention for your day. When you're washing your hands or changing a diaper, that might be a little bit trickier.
Changing the diaper, and it's a little bit tricky just because we want to use our senses when we're doing mindfulness, and I don't know if that's necessarily something that we want to do.
Probably not. And you also can't control the other person the diaper that you're helping change, and they're moving around. So that's probably not a good idea. Washing dishes, sweeping,
taking walks with our kids, coloring with them, taking just a couple of deep breaths with our kids.
And it's just a moment in time. So you know this, for me, I'm such a I've been doing this thing called an Enneagram, and I'm an 8, which for those of you that know Enneagrams, I'm an achiever. I'm fairly A-type, and I like to do things and really complete it, and really kind of rigid in that. I'm working on that. But what was I going to say? So in my mind, mindfulness, right? I need to be the best at it. I need to be really good at it. I'm gonna master that technique, right? And so in my mind, I need all this time to understand it and read everything about it and get all the nuances of it. But you don't.
No.
You just need a minute.
Just a minute, or even
You
a
just
couple
need a
seconds,
minute.
or just take pause.
Mm-hmm.
Just take pause.
Maybe making your tea in the
enjoy.
morning, or making your coffee in the morning, just for a minute.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be for 15 minutes. You don't have to wake up an hour before the kids, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's where I go in my head, is just like, it's just too big, and then I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think a lot of the times what happens, or the experience that I've had in my practice with my clients, is that we think that 5 minutes might not be a really long time. So many of my clients will start with a 5-minute meditation. That in actuality, 5 minutes of mindfulness is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And so we can set ourselves up for failure in that sense, because we're not good at it. And when we're not good at something, it can bring up these really just yucky, negative feelings.
Right.
And so I always tell people, not that 5 minutes is an extremely long time for mindfulness. I've been practicing mindfulness for a long time, and 5 minutes is extremely hard for me.
That's really important to know, right? Because when you set up these expectations, 5 minutes, just do it for 5 minutes doesn't sound very long, but it is. It's long.
It's an extremely long time, especially because what we're trying to do is quiet our brains, and quieting our brains is not something that's really feasible. So I think something else, or another misconception of mindfulness or meditation, is that we're not going to have any thoughts. But in actuality, we can't stop our thoughts. We have thousands of thoughts a day. We're going to have thoughts, but when we're practicing these mindfulness meditation exercises, it's about recognizing our thoughts and not really judging them.
Yes,
Just
that's
recognizing
different.
them and kind of letting them go.
Mm-hmm.
That is different. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's okay to have the thought. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of women will take time and just read scripture. That's what I do in the morning, is I have that one moment where I check in with myself, and then I get up and I generally read scripture in the morning. And I do this one app from the Bible app, and it's the verse of the day. Even if I just read that verse, and I just check in and I know what that verse is, and it's just literally, I think that's probably 10 seconds. And that's a great way to start.
Yeah.
So you really do start small. It's good to hear that 5 minutes. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, 5 minutes is a long time.
10 minutes is a long time.
In meditation.
Okay.
Yeah, and do what's right for you. I always tell people, try different things. Some people might like visualizing, and this is now we're stepping into a little bit more of the meditation exercises as opposed to mindfulness as being present. But if we're trying different meditation exercises, there's all sorts of different exercises, and some people don't jive well with one particular exercise and will do better with another. So some people will like visualization more than other people. So I always say, just try different things and do what's right for you. Not one thing there isn't a one size fits all.
And there's a website, mindfulness.org.
Mindfulness.org.
Mindfulness.org. We'll add that link down below as well.
Yeah.
And then Lorena is considering maybe doing a mindfulness group in the new year, 2019, and we've offered our space here for her to create a group. If those of you are interested, you can contact Lorena directly. You can participate in the discussion below and let us know if you're interested in a mindfulness group. And then we could get kind of an idea of times and days that are great, weekends or evenings or weekdays, and let us know what works for you. So on that note, thank you so much. Mindfulness is really important.
So important. Take a couple seconds.
Especially during the holidays, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Driving in the car, take a minute. At the red light, take a minute.
Yes.
Do your Kegels and be mindful.
Yes.
Hey, one thing I learned is that you can listen to all of our Facebook Lives. I'm a little bit not super tech savvy. So if you go to our website, there's a little icon on our website, and you can click on that icon, and all of our Facebook Lives are also on podcast. So if you go to
any podcast.
So I went on my phone and I was kind of blown away. I went on my phone, I went to my little podcast icon on my iPhone and I searched SCV Birth Center, and oh my gosh, there I was. And you can click on it so you can listen to these Facebook Lives. The ones that are more appropriate for audio, they're gonna all be uploaded to our, I don't know, we're on Spotify,
Google Play,
Stitcher
Radio,
iTunes. I don't know, there's a whole bunch
all
of
over. We're everywhere.
But I didn't know that. So you guys, you can listen to us in the car. Because I know personally, me on Facebook, I'm just scrolling through. So you may not want to be listening to all this on Facebook, but you can listen to it while you're driving, while you're being mindful. Okay, so I hope you would enjoy it, and we will see you next week. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving. See ya. Bye.